Y'all know what time it is.
It's 1 a.m., man. We back.
And we got special guests in the building. We have Miss Anderson and Tavi in the building. What's going on?
What's up? What's up?
Hello.
How y'all doing today? I know it's kind of cold out there. You know, I walked out there and instantly turned ashy.
Right.
We don't crack until we ashy.
Man, I had to cheat and put some chapstick on my
That's
knuckles.
right. Cocoa butter.
I was thinking when I walked outside, like, man, what happened to spring though?
It ain't come yet.
Man.
It ain't come yet.
But yeah, man, we got some Tulsa teachers, some teachers that's teaching tomorrow's leaders, and you know, we got some questions, and we're gonna share some insight because you know we was talking about it earlier. We just really don't know what's going on. All we know is like the teachers walked out and they're not getting paid, but
They marching, basically.
yeah, and I'm with them.
Standing up for something. Me too.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm with it.
But is it true that the teachers
Basically, like 10 years, y'all haven't got a raise. Basically, is that true?
Yes, in a sense, the state is who provides our pay.
Yeah.
And so the money from the state for raises for teachers pretty much stopped coming in around 2008.
Me.
10 years? Boy, I bet they got a raise though. Every time I look up, it's like you know the teachers are all the ones that's always underfunded. Like you know, you look at schools like North and stuff like that, and like what school is it now? It used to be Elcott.
The McLean 7th grade center.
McLean 7th grade center. Like I ain't seen no new improvements to it or nothing like that. And like that used to be my school right there. I couldn't wait to run across the street to go to Gibbs after school.
Right, my
quarter
where
in
you
my
came
hand.
from.
Wait, how old are you? Gibbs was still open?
Yes, I'm an old man. You know, I got
Oh,
stripes.
man. How older than you are? You're not no old man.
Hey,
I'm like, wait,
hey,
Gibbs
I
was
hide
still,
my grade
was
good.
still
I'm
buying stuff for a
distinguished.
quarter? That's when I was
Nah, I was around that time too.
Nah, I'm 29.
Yeah.
We graduated
Alright,
the
we
same
did.
year. How you
Okay,
older than me?
I'll be 30 in October. Look,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
30 in
yeah.
October.
Oh, now we
Yeah,
count
it's 30.
months.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now we
man.
count months. She be 30 in October.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't think that they really want the North Side to have anything. Not necessarily from, like, looking at our skin color, oh, they don't know how to handle this, so
Right.
they're not making any improvements on the North Side. It's just like, okay. It's like a give and take. If you give us something and we take care of it, then give us some more.
Right.
I wish like the north side of Tulsa could have something like a union or something like that where they have a lot of money coming in because my son goes to union.
And they are definitely not funded from Tulsa. Well, no,
Union
they are
is its
funded
own
from
district.
But Tulsa is like paying for it though. I
But
heard that.
how
No?
does that work?
Union is its own school district. Union is
How?
standalone. It's like a Broken Arrow or a Jinx or an
Yeah.
Owasso, even though they're in Tulsa County. Broken Arrow's in Tulsa County. Even though they're in the Tulsa city limits, they're their own school district. So they have their own superintendent. They have their own funding that they get for the state based on their student population. So they're not part of TPS. So they're not taking any funds from North Tulsa. And personally, my opinion on North Tulsa is that we need to stop waiting on other people to give it to us. If you want it, then we need to figure out how to get it.
Preach, say it louder for the people in the back.
In the back.
I mean, it's the truth. I don't wait on people to give me things that I want necessarily. If I decide I want something, then I'm going to do what I need to do to make that happen. So,
Right.
And that's, I teach 7th and 8th grade, and we just did a Black Wall Street unit at the beginning of the semester. And so that was one of the things I taught them was that they didn't wait on people to give them things. We had our own hospital. We had our own grocery stores.
Thanks.
There were people that didn't know what downtown Tulsa looked like because they didn't need to go downtown for anything. Everything they needed was in their neighborhood, provided by their own people.
Yeah.
So at some point, as North Tulsans, as Black people as a whole, we're going to have to figure out, this is what we want and this is how we get there.
Man. I like that right there.
Me too. Yeah, that's right.
That's what people think, and they're going to be like, dang.
Deep in thought.
Right. Might as well get on it now.
Man.
They need to wait on nobody.
You gotta invest in yourself. It's important.
That's just with
Gotta invest
anything.
in it.
With education,
Right.
when you want to be somebody in life, you just got to, be your own biggest support. Because I ain't going to lie, like, not a few years ago, like, I used to look at it like, like, when they going to do this for us, when we need a Walmart out here, you know what I mean?
But why do we need a Walmart? Because that's what you're used to
That's what we
having.
used to
That's what
have,
they
yeah.
provided.
Yeah,
All we need is fresh fruits and vegetables.
but
That's
where
right.
can you get that? Really,
We have people that are
They grow 'em.
gardening in our neighborhoods
do.
now. I have a lady that lives kind of down the street from me. It's like around the corner, but she grows greens every year. She started planting them last year, so I don't know how this hard freeze is gonna go on them because I don't garden.
right.
But she grows greens. She gets on Facebook and she lets you know when she's finna harvest them. And she'll come up with about 4 or 5, big trash bags full, and she just sets them outside her house, and whoever comes and picks them up first is who gets them.
What?
My church does that too.
So why do we need to have a Walmart?
They have tomatoes, cabbage, and green. Yeah, they have it, and they have their
getting-
little
I'm
farmers
getting taught
market.
today. I didn't know
So
this.
it's like every other Saturday or so they'll have their
You
little.
just need to. There are people out there doing it. You just need to, figure
Do
out where they are
Reach-
and support them.
reach out to them.
When I was growing up, we had Mr. Cooper's fruit stand. So we just could go get our fresh fruits and vegetables from there.
Oh, you go to my church. It's a cookie. It's a go to paradise.
Where is this lady at? Because I'm thinking the wheels in my head is turning. You said green.
But she's willing to teach. Her sister works at Walt Whitman Elementary. They have a
Right.
garden. They have built a garden out in front of the school. If you drive past the school, you'll see where they've built little raised gardens. So it's not about us waiting on Walmart. Walmart is not going to come to us.
No.
Fruits and vegetables.
Walmart has had plenty of opportunities, plenty of empty grocery store spaces that they could have built on North Tulsa, over there where the Homeland was in Gilcrease Hills,
Yes.
where the Safeway was, out on North Peoria, where Best Jet was. I don't even know if y'all remember these grocery stores.
I remember Homeland. Homeland.
There have been plenty of opportunities, where they built the Albertsons that have turned into,
it's research now, isn't it?
no, right there on Peoria.
It turned into
The guy that owns the supermercado.
Gateway?
Yeah, Gateway.
Gateway.
That. I never went in there. But where they built that, Walmart could have got those incentives,
Right.
and built a small, but they don't want to come out here.
My thing was like, what kind of frustrated me, because when you go in there, they have stuff marked up super high, and they
Very
expire
high.
tomorrow. And I was just like, come on now. That's why I was saying like I was upset that I wanted to get something like a Walmart or something like
So
that.
make our own.
Yeah.
Remember Coming to America? They had McDonald's, and then he had McDonald's.
Yeah.
He
Gotta
made
keep
his
the sweet.
own.
Look, my nana makes some bomb pound cake. we have the ingredients, okay?
So make your own. You know how to do it. We know how. There are those of us out there that know how to do it.
Right.
And then there are those that are willing to share the knowledge. Sometimes we just don't want to listen. And then for the most part, in my personal opinion, we don't want to do the work. Nobody wants to do the work that it takes to, start a small grocery
Deep.
store.
That's deep.
Man.
So you see having everything.
So,
just handed to us.
and I had kids you guys' age. You guys are like the microwave generation. You're used to just putting it in there, pushing a button, and you got it. When I grew up, you wanted to eat, you had to put it on the stove or put it in the oven and wait on it.
I do be killing some hot pockets.
Look, the only thing I still cook on the stove, malto
So-
meal. I will cook my malto meal on the stove, though.
Oh, well, I
got
mean,
chocolate
I
Montos.
cook lots of things on the stove,
Yeah.
so I'm used to waiting. I spent some time in the military, so I'm used to hurry up and wait. And I think that's something that we need to instill back into our children. Like, my children understand, if I say sit right there, you just sit right there until I say you can get up. And they're grown, but they knew that lesson growing up. So I think we just need to go back to our original mindset. It's in us. I mean, as a people, we built this country.
Mm-hmm.
So why
Right.
can't we build up the north side?
We can. And it just takes more people. Like, I wish, like, us people of color would not think of things like, crabs in a barrel and, stick together a little bit more instead of saying, well, Nico got $5 and I ain't got nothing. Like,
So why
we're
don't you
mad
just
at
go
him.
to Nico and say, hey, Nico, how'd you get that $5? Because I want to try to give me $5
I'm
too.
gonna give you $250 and we gonna both get $5.
Right.
Gonna make it happen.
If Nico's willing to share the information, and he just said he was willing to share his $5, so why you can't have 25?
But it's really a pride thing on a lot of people my age.
that right
It's a
there.
pride thing. I don't want to ask you for nothing because what if you get mad at me or we fall out? Hey,
Don't
Todd,
talk about me or something.
Miss Anderson was trying to get on, like trying to, it's just a pride
We're
thing.
going to have to get over there. You're going to be so prideful that you're not going to eat one day.
Man, they forget that right there. Yeah, they forget where they come from.
Right.
Dropping
They do. Too many of us forget where we come from and act better than
Pride,
the next
pride
person.
shuts a lot of doors for people. I mean, as a black woman, I understand that. Pride shuts a lot of doors. Like I said, I was in the Army, so I felt like I could do it. I joined the Army when I was 17.
Wow.
You know, so you feel like, oh, I done been through this, I done did this. You know, I can do it. But then when the kids came, it was like, oh, I'm going to have to ask somebody for help, you know, and that's hard, I'll admit it. But you're going to be hungry. Just because you don't want to ask somebody for that piece of bologna over there.
Man.
Hey, when you hungry, boy, your back is against the wall. Your ass, you can only bump your head so many
I know
times.
some people that, you know, they probably won't ask for a couple of days. I mean, when they do ask,
That was me at the point in
I-
time.
see?
At the point in time, that was me.
You know, they let a couple of days go past. Oh, baby, you should have asked me for that 2 days ago. I already gave that away. You
Your
know,
bologna look good.
Right.
You don't want to ask for it, though.
When I start opening my mouth, yeah.
you know, a closed
good.
mouth don't get fed. I know everybody heard their grandmother say that. A closed mouth don't get fed. All they can do is tell you no. Okay, you get 25 no's. Guess what? That 26th person might gonna say yeah and give you some extra. Here's some chips. You want some Kool-Aid?
Man.
Man, I miss teachers like that. Like, how long have you been teaching?
I've been in the classroom. I think this is my 11th year. I really stopped counting after a while.
Wow.
I've been with TPS for almost 15 years.
15 years. Ugh. I've only been 6 years and 5 in the classroom.
Wow. Like, you know, especially you, Tommy. We came up. We came up at East Central together.
I see them birds.
I see you had that red shirt on. I thought I had a cardinal in front of
Gotta
you.
keep the red out.
But like, how was it like going from being a student to actually teaching a class?
Oh my gosh. My first year?
Yeah.
Okay, so I started out in elementary school,
Okay.
and I was a teacher's assistant then. And the first day that I walked in, I'm just like looking around like, damn, was I this bad? Girl, I know I had manners and I was listening.
Right.
But, I mean, it was cool. It was just, I think it started with the relationships with the teacher and the kids.
Right.
And I think that builds on top of the education. Like if I know from, Miss Thompson was one of my teachers at Hawthorne.
Right.
And just as soon as you walk into that classroom, you knew like, okay, she a black woman. She give you that look like she is not playing. Like that's all it took. Like she looked at you like, all right, I'm going to my seat. I'm going to listen and I'm going to learn today.
Yeah.
But from going to that to high school, that was a different boat. That was a different boat for me because so close in age.
Right.
And I relate to them a lot more. And it was like knuckleheads. They don't want to listen.
Right.
They think they know everything. It was like, okay, Tabby, the next day you come, your second day, you have to make sure that you stand firm. I don't care who don't like me, whatever. This is how it's gonna be.
Right.
So once I started doing that for my high school kids, it was like, oh, more relationships start to build. We bonding, and they start to respect me more. And now it's like I can't get them out of my classroom.
Yeah, they won't go away.
Yeah. Like my room is like, oh, she's the cool teacher and such and such, but she gonna keep it real with you.
Yeah.
Right.
She don't take no stuff in her classroom. Like I'm young, I don't like cursing in my classroom. You cursing? All right, drop down and give me 10 push-ups. Like they know that,
Hey, that's
and
old
they keep
school
it
right
like they keep coming back. So I know I'm doing something right. They want to learn. I got a lot of these so-called gang members in my classroom. We learning, so that's
they
good.
so cute. I've had so many.
It's cool. Like you a gang member? Where set you from? No, I mean I know all your big homies, but you not in no gang. But okay.
I got
That's
another
always my
question for
favorite.
you. Like, how do you see the same differences and similarities in the classroom from when you was in there? Like, you know, like you just said, you touched on like people like trying to be gang members and stuff like that. What would you tell them? Like, man, when you get out, man, all these people you think you know, like you ain't gonna know none of them. It's crazy. Like, you can know everybody in school. As soon as you graduate, you by yourself.
Yeah, popular kids in the class. Okay, from East Central. All right, look, you want me to give. Okay, so the gang members, the so-called gang members. Have you looked at your big homie today? Lately, what is he doing? He's still in Tulsa, still selling drugs, still doing the same thing that he's been doing in high school and has not made a big jump in his life yet.
Right.
I mean, do you want to stay right here? Do you want to raise kids? Do you want to travel the world, right? Okay, so do something different. half of them do not have their education. They just went to school, did not graduate, and probably don't even remember the last math question that was asked. So,
Right.
yeah, I try to steer them in a different direction. Like, ooh, I'm not about to say nobody's name, but can't do that.
No, no.
But just like if you was on your last strand, can you call your big homie? If you had one lifeline, one phone call, can you call him and he'll come for you? Well, not come for you, come save you.
I'm calling my mom.
See, everybody don't. A lot of them would rather pick the big homie over their mama, like they would.
Oh, they tripping.
No, that, and you know, that's just,
They learn life.
that's
that's
they think
today.
that, but you know, when you get, because I've been doing it for a while, and I started in high school, so I was at Nathan Hale, and then I did about 6 or 7 years at Central, and so now I'm in middle school. So this is different for me being
Right.
in middle school, because this is where all the emotion bundles start, and I'm like an even keel person, so I'm looking like, are you serious? Are you about to cry for real? Like, I mean, I need to know, like, because I need to know what I'm gonna do with this.
Right.
Right.
You know, but in high school, you know, they're tough, and they
Act
used to be
like
my favorite. Like at Central, like I always, every year, I find that one kid, generally a girl. The boys break easy. Y'all break easy. I'm sorry. But I would always have to find that one girl, you know, whether she was in my class or not, that one girl, okay, oh, yeah, oh, that's her, okay. She's the tough one this year, you know. And so you break them down, but they don't even know they're being broke down. You know, so you get in there, like Tommy said, it's all about relationship building.
Right.
Because I'm that teacher that will talk mad crazy to you. And then, you know, when it's time to leave, even right now with my 8th graders, can I stay in here? No, ma'am. You got to go. Like, you was just rolling your eyes at me 5 minutes ago, and now
Can
you
you
want
drop
to
me off
stay.
at home?
Are you going to the game? Can I ride to the game with you? Both my children can drive. What are you talking about? But you take them. You know, I've bought lunch. You have to learn how to build those relationships. But those want to be gangbangers. When push comes to shove, let's just say at my time in high school, I saw a whole lot of stuff. You know, but when push comes to shove, yeah, I'm gonna call so and so. Her baby, use my phone.
Right.
You know, but when that back get against the wall, Samson, can you call my mom? So, you know, they talk mad game. Yeah, they gonna call the big homie, and I had somebody that told me they was gonna do something one day, and they were walking down the hall with a gentleman that I happen to know, because I went to middle school with him. And he was like, hey, what you doing over here? And the young man looked like,
Yeah.
you know her? You know, we talking,
No,
chop
we
it up
know.
for a second, and I say, who is he to you? Oh, this is my son. Da, da, da. Oh, your son. Really?
Right.
You know, so
Step into my office.
you know, I've been in North Tulsa all my life. I mean, obviously, I go out and travel and do things, but I've been in North Tulsa all my life. I go to church. I know people from every walk of life.
Right.
You know, from the drug dealer, gangbanger. He possibly has killed 3 or 4 people. We're not sure, though, because we can't prove it. To, you know, the pastor and the pastor's wife and great grandma in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
so I run that gambit of people. And so it's, you know, when you got that kid that's acting up and you see him at Walmart, hey, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, Miss So-and-so. Who is this to you?
Right.
You know, because I'm that teacher.
Right.
I try to stay, you know, behind the scenes, but if you one of my, I call them my OPKs, my other people kids. You know, so you one of my OPKs and you be cutting the food. Yeah, I put that on Facebook. A lot of people like, what is OPK? You know, so if you one of mine and you cutting the food, did I see you with Miss Johnson? Miss Johnson that go to St. Andrews?
Mm-hmm.
How you know my grandma? Oh, that's
Right.
your grandma.
No, you just
okay.
Called you
Yeah.
Right.
Did I see you with so and so?
Mm-hmm.
That's my uncle. How you
Oh,
know him?
man.
Oh, we went to Gilcrease together. Yeah, Miss Anderson went to Gilcrease. I went to Carver too, but I didn't like it.
Right.
You know.
Never
so they're
know.
like-
No.
You know, and then it's funny because they look at me. I'm at work. I'm a different person at work. I'm the teacher. You know, so they're like, well, how you know him? Like, don't worry about how I know him, baby. I just know him. Just go home and ask him, does he know Deidre Anderson? You know, so they're trying. And my favorite thing is on the set.
Oh my god.
Are we filming a movie today?
Man, on the set.
You know,
OTS. You said a text
you just have to build those relationships. Like I said, I've seen a lot of things. I've broken up a lot of fights.
Mhm.
I've
Right there.
stopped a lot of fights with the mama look because I just didn't feel like it that day.
Yes.
You know, it's like, we doing what today? No, y'all about to go. You know.
I am gaining that. Yes. He's so young. I'm so proud of myself.
You getting the look?
and Tavi knows they continue to love you when they left you. I delivered something to Tavi around Valentine's Day.
Oh my gosh, y'all.
I delivered something to Tavi, just a little
was it?
encouragement. It was just some candy that I made.
No, this is not any ordinary candy. This was homemade peppermint. Oh my goodness, they were hearts.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I ate them in like 5 minutes. As soon as she delivered, I read my little note, yes, encouragement, and then I opened that bag and then we're gone. Like, that was so good. If I made homemade peppermint stuff, any homemade
candy,
anything.
So I delivered, and she had one of my kids. One of my boys was in her room, and me and that boy had to walk a couple of miles together. You know, but it was funny because he was like, Miss Anderson, how you know I Miss Tommy? And he would not let me go. I was like, babe, I gotta go. Like, I gotta go back to my school. You know, but they continue to love you. My grown kids, I don't remember all their names, but I see them, Miss Anderson, and I'm like, hey, baby, because that's
real love.
That's the thing, you know. Hey, baby, you know, and I know what school you were from. I may not know your name unless you really was an EGR kid. Extra grace required. You know, but hi, so how you doing? You know, and they know that's my thing. I'm always asking, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't lie. Because, you know, if they respect you, that lie is hard to tell.
Right.
You know, they try it. Oh, you know. No, I don't know.
Yep.
You know,
Elaborate.
so, yes. Explain to me. I have time. You know, so it's all about building those relationships. But Tommy's going to be good. I think her having played basketball, had a basketball kid, they learn how to build seriously strong relationships because you want to kill your teammates sometimes.
Tommy used to hoop.
Yeah.
So she's gonna be good at it. Just I hope the slight lack of pay in Oklahoma doesn't discourage her.
I was going to
No,
ask
it's
you.
not.
It sounds like you guys are just more than just teachers.
Yeah.
You guys are
That
counselors.
right there.
Sometimes babysitters.
Babysitters, look.
But you had one of those in
Right.
school. You had that one.
We all had that one.
You had that one teacher they were whatever you needed. And that's what I tell my kids. I'm whatever you need today. What you need me to be.
See,
So
with that being said, like what all you guys do and all you guys deserve, like what do you think the disconnect is? Like between you guys and the government?
They don't understand.
Yeah, they don't understand.
They
They're
ain't
not
been
there
in
with
that
us every day.
Yeah.
8 hours a day. They're not in our classrooms to even get the gist of understanding what we have to lay out and go through. They don't.
I don't get it. Like you say, everybody has their teacher. Mine's with Miss Atkins.
Everybody used to go downstairs to Miss, what's her name, Palmer's room?
Yeah.
Play the Xbox. What are we playing? Xbox and PlayStation at school.
girl, because sometimes you just gotta. I've
Yeah.
had them hooked up in my classroom before. Okay, Friday, y'all can bring your little game system in.
Every Friday in my classroom.
We
do
finish
something.
that quiz or that
Every
test,
Friday.
and then but keep it down.
Mm-hmm.
Don't cause me no problems. I won't cause you no problems.
But like a lot of students wouldn't make it without teachers like you guys. And that's why I don't get why they're not giving you guys what you want. Like, it shouldn't have been a question.
Yeah.
Well, and this is what I've had to explain to a lot of people. So while I teach social studies, I actually have a business degree. So I took a lot of economics classes. I took a lot of negotiating classes, things like that they make you take in college. Classes you think you'll never need. Trigonometry. I started out as an elementary education major, so in Langston that's like K through 3 or something like that, and I had to take trigonometry. I'm sorry, who am I teaching trig to? But with what's going on now, it's been going on for years. So when the recession hit the nation, around 2007. It really started in 2006 or so and started building. And it just came to a head about 2008.
Right.
And so everybody was like, even your house, you had to trim the fat off your budget. So it was like we trimmed everything. Well, social services and education continued to get trimmed. Gas was really high at one point.
Man.
I was like, are we about to
I
touch
remember gas was like
3
107 in high
something? Girl, what you talking about?
Look,
I remember
all
90 no ma'am, 56 cents. No ma'am, yes. I remember gas was really cheap when I was growing up. But
$10 was a tank.
Man, wasn't it?
and we drove those big, them guzzlers. These little cute cars didn't come around. So, so it was easy because we just, in the classroom, I think what most people, think of it this way. There's that one person that that if something needs to be taken care of, they just take care of it. It might be grandma, it might be Aunt Joe, whoever it is. They just, this needs to happen. They just make it happen.
Right.
And you get to a point to where you don't think about that anymore. Grandma call and say, hey, we need to do this. And Joe is there and it's happening. And you like, man, how did that happen? That's really what was going on in social services and in education. The budgets would get trimmed a little bit. And we didn't really start noticing it in education until it got to where we used to call it trims in Tulsa. It's called something else now that I can't remember. But it would be where at the end of the school year, about this time in the school year, the principal gets their projected numbers for the next year. And so they say, we project that you're going to have this many students. So based off this many students, you can have this many teachers.
Right.
Your librarian, your nurse, counselors, all of that is included in that projection. So that number start getting less and less and less. So you may still get 400 to 500 students, but now you're not getting the 20-something, 30-something teachers that you had. I remember when I first started teaching, there was a cap on the number of students that we could see in a day. So we could only see like 44 kids in a day. So if I had 7 classes, I couldn't get past, it didn't matter how you put the kids in the class. At the end of the day, I couldn't see more than 100 and something kids. So now, that kept my classes at like 20, 25, because I was teaching business when I first started. I was teaching business classes when I first started. And so then now, compared to then, I'm in middle school. I teach all of the 7th graders and I teach all of the 8th graders.
Right.
Because I'm the only social studies teacher for those grades.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So when I first got to Monroe, there was a second social studies teacher.
Monroe.
And so she taught 8th grade and I taught 7th grade and that was it. But now I have a class of 7th graders. It's been over 40 all year. I think we started the year like 45 or 46. So I'm sitting here like, okay, I need some chairs, I need another table. But that was what happened. We just said, okay, this is what it is. Yeah, I don't like it, but we kept going. We kept making it happen. You don't have no pencils? Okay, so I'm going to go to the Dollar Tree tonight and buy a whole bunch of pencils.
Right.
Spending all money.
Office didn't have any, baby, we ran out of copy paper. Okay, well, I'm going to go to Office Depot or Staples and I'm going to buy some copy paper because I need it.
Yeah.
So that's what education and even social services kept doing over the last 10 years is we kept, as best as we could, making it happen. But we were also, what a lot of people in the public don't realize is that while we were making it happen on, our end, we were also trying to go to the legislators and say, hey, this is getting bad. Hey, we need a little bit. We need like $2 more. Can we just have like $2 more?
Right.
And so, yeah, we'll give it to you, but then we don't get it. Mr. Bright is a staple. I'm like, this dude go hard for education. He ain't have no kids. Like his son, he got grandkids. His kids, he has one son. He been grown.
Yeah.
But Mr. Bright is there. He's the person, that's fighting for North Tulsa, McLean's and things like that, but we need more Mr. Brights.
Yes.
So Mr. Bright is like, well, can we move those $2 over here? Well, if we do that, so you need people willing to do that. And when she came out and said, this is what the money looks like, I can't give a raise this year. We were like, okay, don't give me a raise, but can I not have 45 in my class?
Man.
Can I have that? And then, she did her best with that. This year, there's nothing to do. You've squeezed all the blood out the turnip. You cut all the meat off on the bone. It looked like that ham bone in the pie.
Neck bone.
That bone get white when there ain't nothing else on it.
Right.
That's literally where we are. And so it just kind of progressed, and it was like, it's been an undercurrent, that's been brewing in education for a while, because we literally go to the legislators every year, and I mean literally. In Tulsa, we take a delegation of teachers every Tuesday. Like, teachers go to the legislature. They go to Oklahoma City. They miss their school day, go to Oklahoma City and talk to legislators, and they tell them, hey, this is what's going on in my classroom. Can you help? And so, but at the end of the day, people like, oh, they just teachers. Well, we are, but it's a whole lot of us.
Yeah.
I might not like Susie that teach math, but on this we agree. So, and that's kind of what happened in, I don't know if you guys were paying attention nationally, West Virginia went out first.
Yeah.
So they went out in February, and they were out for 9 days. And then it kept going in Oklahoma. We had the special session after a budget wasn't approved last year for education. And I think this is also what people don't understand, is that they do give us a budget. They give it to the state Department of Education. But then they've been coming in every quarter and sometimes during the month and cutting that budget. So, we know we said we gave you this many millions, but we're going to need to take 2% of that back. 2% of $5 million is a lot of money. That means a kid is not getting something. So we're low on librarians. We're low on nurses. We're low on speech pathologists. Just those wraparound services that our kids need in school these days. We don't have them. So it's not new. It's just that we just kept making it happen to the point to where, I'm tired. Teachers are working 2 or 3 jobs. I think this is the first school year I've not had a second job in about 5 or 6 years.
Man.
Wow.
So what would you think, just your opinion, realistically, where do you think the funding could come from? If you were to, draw up, the funding or the budgets or the taxes, what would you tax, or how would you create some
I think
money?
it's less of taxing, and it's more of going and looking at those credits that we've given the upper echelon of people and businesses.
Right.
So right now, one of the things we're asking for is for the capital gains tax to be taken away. In a sense, it's that affects maybe 800 people in Oklahoma.
Right.
Potentially could bring in $100 million.
Man, that's crazy.
So now, and they always come back and say, if we do that, we could ruin the ranchers, and we could ruin, and how many head of cattle you got that you about to sell? That's what capital gains is.
Right.
So if you're a rancher, I don't think you selling a whole lot of stuff this year. You trying to keep the ranch going.
Yeah.
If you got a $5 million house, you might need to pay taxes on that sale.
Yeah.
So that's where it's less of taxing us. And when I say us, I mean those of us down here not making $100,000. More of asking them to pay their fair share of the taxes, because we don't get to benefit from. I'm not selling anything that's gonna cause capital gains to hurt me.
Right.
And I know that sounds selfish, but it's true. We've been fighting for GPT, or gross production tax on oil. So when oil was big and booming, and we were paying all those dollars at the pump, the oil companies went to the state and said, hey, we need a break on what we pay on gross production. Gross production is they're paying a tax on the oil that they pull out when they dig a well.
Right.
So it was at 1.7%, and then they dropped it down to 2%. It goes back to 7% after 3 years. Well, anybody that has researched oil, and even oil companies have said, you get your most production in that first 3 years.
Right.
So they're paying basically nothing. And you're going, it's their argument is, well, we're not going to be able to afford to drill here. If you want the oil and we got the oil, you're going to drill here. There are states where they're paying 12%, 13% GPT. but you're only paying 2 in Oklahoma. You know, because they went in the current legislators said, hey, you know, can I get a break?
Yeah, that sounds like some crooked.
You know, so, you know.
Don't Oklahoma got like the most oil or one of the most?
We have some good oil pockets. Our earthquake this morning.
Yeah,
you know,
earthquake, right.
fracking.
I have friends from Kansas that in the oil field, and they're like, "Yeah, I got to make a trip to Oklahoma." I'm like, "Dang!"
Yeah.
You know, and so but they, the scare tactic they use with their own employees is that, hey, you know, they're trying to raise our taxes. We may not be able to, you know, keep hiring people or keep. Yeah. You need that oil to come out that ground. You gonna keep hiring people.
Yeah.
You know, so we've put forth, you know, hey, can we just get it to 4? Like that's how we ended up in special session in October, because at the end of last year's session, and if you don't know, a session only runs from February to May.
Right.
So a legislator makes more money than I do to work from February to May. Mm-hmm. They don't work every day.
I want their job.
You don't know how much you want their job. So they make about $38,000. And that's on the low. Never mind. It gets better. They make about $38,000. And then they get per diem. So that's like $156 per day. Like I was telling somebody on the bus, they was like, you ought to run. I said, no, they can just give me the per diem. Their per diem check a month is more than I make a month. Man. Per diem is, if you've never been in the military, if there's not a cafeteria or a place for you to eat, then they pay you to eat. So it's like food and mileage. Because a lot of them, not all of them, live in Oklahoma City. You know, they probably rent a place in Oklahoma City for a while they're there or whatever. So they get per diem. That's $156 a day. So at 20 days, that's still like $3,000. You know, so they get their $38,000 for their 4 months. They don't generally work on Fridays. They will gavel in like this week because they're tired of us, because we are literally taking the building to capacity every day. The fire marshal shuts it down. So they'll come in. They have to gavel in and gavel out because they're in session. Thursday, the House gaveled in and they were done and gone by 10 o'clock. In the morning. Yeah, so and we think it's cute because they'll be like, oh, we're going to work late today. Bruh, I go to school at 7:45, 8 o'clock, and I will be there until 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. There were times at Central, I was there till 11 o'clock at night. Man. Like, the custodian's like, we got to set the alarm now. You know what I mean? About a couple of other little teachers that were there were like, okay, you know, like, can I just have 5 minutes to finish this? Yeah. So you work until 9 and you upset? No, it's not going to work for us. You know, so
10 in the morning, get off.
Right.
Everybody at the house ain't woke up yet.
They don't understand.
So it's a lot. There's a lot behind what's going on with the teacher walkout. There are ways to bring in the income without taxing people. Mm-hmm. They won't even hear capital gains. The Senate passed it last week. The House won't even bring it to the floor for a vote. So that would not tax the normal Oklahoma.
I gotta ask you a question.
I got to.
Like, what if they legalize marijuana? Like, would that bring in a lot more money? Like, not saying everybody gonna walk around and like be.
So first of all, it's medicinal.
Yeah.
It's not. We're not Colorado.
Yeah.
It's medicinal marijuana.
Yeah.
But they are saying the people that are bringing that, because I think that goes to a vote in November if they get their signatures. So they're saying they are willing to dedicate like 85% of those profits, tax profits, to education. Right. You know, and people tell us a lot of things because there's a lot of teachers in Oklahoma, and we do kind of sometimes have influence on, you know, vote. My parents will call me and say, okay, me and your daddy finna go vote. Who are we voting for?
What do you think?
Right. But they know I've researched, and depending on what the office is, I might need to know how you vote. Like, I may not need my people to vote for you. So they're saying 85% or something like that will go towards education, and we're okay with it. It's medicinal. We're not going to have pop-up shops, you know.
Right,
now,
right.
I think the point of bringing in medicinal is to get to the pop-up shops, and then I guess that's where, like, maybe the vape shops will come in. Yeah. I don't know a whole lot about that. I don't partake, so.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I'm kind of okay with it. It has its pluses and its negatives, like anything else.
Right. I mean,
I probably rather you, be with Mary Jane than be with meth.
Yes.
Right.
or
That's
alcohol,
facts.
really.
Yeah.
As long as you stay at home.
Right.
Yeah. Man, too many alcohol stories. Anybody can say, I seen somebody driving drunk and they, but on the other side, they just want to be at home.
They just wanna be at home. Yeah.
But yeah, man, a lot of people have mixed thoughts on it because some people, they look at it like back in Prohibition, it's the devil and stuff like that. But
You have to remember we're in the Bible Belt.
yeah,
So that is one thing with Oklahoma. The Southern Baptist is strong here.
right.
And they come in with their influence. I think it's funny that while we were protesting on the other side of the Capitol building, Westboro Church was over there protesting us. I was like, really?
Yeah.
So, but they go out and they protest anybody that's protesting. So, you just kind of have to remember where we are as far as Oklahoma, and we like to talk about those Oklahoma values. But if you don't value education, then you might want to check those values at the door. So,
Literally, you guys are
don't care
shaping
about it now.
tomorrow's leaders.
Yeah, really.
with 50 cents
Every day.
Literally, every day, like somebody in your classroom could literally be the president of the United States. Literally.
I'm working on that.
Definitely.
I have a young man in mind. I had him at Central. He ended up being the student council president because I was like, "Hey, come here."
Was he on a debate team too?
No, we didn't have debate. He just got married to one of my daughter's friends a couple of weeks ago.
Congratulations.
And so, I told him, okay, I'm going to give y'all, a little couple of years, have a family, and then we need to see what office we're going for. Like,
I'm just trying to keep my
it's
kids.
kind of a joke, but he's like, if you're going to be my campaign manager, I'm in. Because it was funny that when we did it at Central, we kind of pulled a coup. So he was like, well, so-and-so's already going to be, no. I think you would be better.
I'm trying to keep my kids out of jail.
I'm just like, I think you could do this. And he's like, well, he wouldn't talk to the guy. And I said, you're going to go talk to him. This is what you're going to say. This is what he's going to say. And this is your response. And then so he went and talked to the teacher that was over it. And he said, how did you know he was going to say that? Don't worry about that.
Sound like a campaign manager.
She's everything. Yeah, she's everything.
I am what you need when you need it.
So,
but
in y'all personal opinion, like, what's like the positive and negatives as far as a whole?
As a
walkout.
Walkout, yeah. Like, who do y'all feel like it's affecting the most?
Ooh,
so it's affecting our kids.
definitely
And we know
affecting
that.
kids.
We know we have kids that their meals at school are sometimes their only meals. So that was why going into the walkout in Tulsa and in most of the surrounding communities, we looked at how are we going to feed our kids.
Right.
So there's at least 75 places in Tulsa that you could take your child to get a meal.
A lot of people open
You know,
their
we-
doors for that.
We partnered with a lot of places. I think even my church.
My church do too.
He made my pastor made an announcement that, hey, we're going to feed kids.
What church?
I'm at First Baptist, North Tulsa, across from Carver. And so I don't know what the time frame is, but on the TPS website and then all across Facebook, we're always forwarding that information that this is where you can go to get your child fed. John 3:16 across from Burroughs on, I was going to call it Cincinnati, on MLK.
It's Cincinnati.
It is Cincinnati.
It will always be Cincinnati.
On MLK, they are a feeding place. The Dream Center,
Dream Center.
they're a feeding
Booker T did
place.
one.
Did Booker T do it?
Booker T
Edgerec is
opened
a
it
good
up.
place.
Edgerec.
Oh yeah, Edgerec.
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 My son goes there too. I think next week they're starting up, or like on Monday. I think it's Monday through Thursday, $10 a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know one of the boys
Well,
and girls
the
club
the
opened
Boys
up.
and Girls Clubs are totally
They
free,
open
and they're
up. Free?
feeding places.
Free.
Hey.
Yeah, they work in
So
double
we-
time, like from 7 to
The
7.
community
Like they there.
stepped up. It's the legislators, because we're at day 6 starting Monday. So the legislators, one of the things that they're telling us, because I'm spending my week in Oklahoma City, is that you guys are about to lose the community support. And I'm like, you guys are so out of touch with the community.
so.
Like you're
No,
so
I think
they
not.
really
They're
are
not
so
in the classroom,
out
not
of
in the
touch
community.
with the community.
I don't know.
I didn't go Tuesday, and I was out on 71st running some errands, and people are just, they're honking, they're,
Mhm.
because their
You
teachers
was
are
out
lined
there.
in the corners. I don't know
Right.
if you guys have been out.
Yeah.
Pine and Pure,
Pine and
the
Pure,
North
we was
Tulsa
out
teachers
there.
were out
Shout
there.
out.
Yeah.
So I was in Oklahoma City that day. But even in Oklahoma City, there are thousands of us there. Like I said, the building gets full. Yesterday, the building was full at 8 o'clock. The Tulsa teachers hadn't even made it yet. We were still on the way.
Man.
And so one of our teachers that stayed there said, hey, the building's full. The lines are wrapped around the building. So we put up tents. We just kind of camp out outside. Well,
Yeah, I was
the
kicking it
local
with the DJs and all.
restaurants. Yeah, they've had a
was
DJ.
kicking it.
Like
I was
iHeartRadio.
kicking it.
iHeartRadio showed up, and they, the first day, Monday, they were there, and they played music. So we have music. We have local talent that comes in. We have kids get up and speak, because we're trying to remind everybody this is what it's about.
Right.
Coming
And so
coming together.
what happened the week before the race, the week before the walkout was, we started talking about a walkout 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So let's put a real time frame on this. They had 3 weeks to do something. And when they were like, okay, momentum is gaining. Oh,
it
they're
was a bluff.
serious. Yeah, they did. They thought it was a bluff. So the week after,
Teachers ain't
spring, the last week of March, they came in, and that's where they passed our raise.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave teachers an average of $6,000. It just depends on, like, Tavi's only going to see a baby 4.
I'm not. Yeah.
I think I'm at almost 6. I'm at 5 something, because I looked at the chart. Teachers that have been teaching 25, 30 years, because I got friends that have been doing it that long.
Mm-hmm.
They're barely seeing 8,000.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 25 years. I haven't had a raise in 10 years. So we asked for 10 going out, but we only asked for 6 the first year.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were like, you got 2 more years to figure out how to get the, so they passed that raise, and we're like, okay, we gave them a raise. They gave our support staff $1,250, I think. We asked for them to get $5,000.
Man.
And then we asked for money to be put back into the budget.
Then on top of that, I still don't have enough books in my classroom.
Yeah, he felt that.
So I have
Right.
$1,250. They gave them $1,250. We asked for them to have $5,000. And then we asked for money to come back into the classroom to buy textbooks. So I don't teach from a textbook. Even if I tried to teach from a textbook, I have maybe 25 geography textbooks. I have, on average, 28 kids in every geography class. Like I said, that one class has 42 in it.
Yeah.
So I can't use a textbook.
Right.
And then I
have to.
teach you as history. I don't even have textbooks for you as
Math
history.
books.
So I'm creating, and there are teachers across the state. We are creating those lessons. We are
remember
spending
sharing
hours
Oh my
at home.
God! Yes, I have to have my high school
Right.
students share books.
And
Oh, I'm
so,
making copies every day.
if it's a book,
From the
I'm
book.
running centers, which is where you got kids in groups working on different things. So then I can use a book for geography, but they're doing something with maps, and then we got to rotate 20 minutes so the other kids can get to the book. That's where we were asking we want to raise, but at the end of the day, had they come in and said, teachers, we're only going to give you like maybe $3,000 this year, or even nothing, and this is my personal thing. If they put the funding into the classroom and gave the support people a raise, none of this would have happened. But they gave us a raise. We're grateful. They gave staff, like I said, $1,250. We're not grateful for that.
No.
They
do a lot.
only
They
put
do a
about
lot, too.
$50 million into the overall school budget. Well, then they backdoored it and took $40 million out. So they repealed a bill, but the
So
governor had already signed it.
Yeah.
And so once she signs it, it has to happen.
Con artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, she knows what she was doing.
So how long would you say? How long do you think it's gonna go on though? Like if y'all don't get what y'all want, how long do you see this? Like
So you make
playing
us sound
out?
like extortionists if we
No.
don't get what
For
we
as
want.
long as we
if
need
it sound
to.
like
No, I'm just kidding.
extortionist, then I'm with it.
And we
We-
appreciate people like
we
you,
need-
but
For real.
We need
Kids need to be
they
in
passed
school.
some things, so we've gotten about $40 million back. The hotel motel is still repealed, and what that is like, if you go to anything at the BOK, if you ever pay attention to how much you pay, there is an entertainment tax on there.
like, what was it, 5%?
So yeah,
Yeah,
is it-
5%
I
or
think
something
it's more
like
than
that.
that.
Was it?
I don't know. but I haven't been to the BOK since the shock left. So, but the hotel motel tax was going to do the same thing. If you stayed at a hotel, it would add a tax, like a, I don't know what they would call that tax, but it would be like a hotel motel tax. So it would add a percentage to your bill on top of your regular nightly rate and the tax for that. So that's what the hotel motel tax was going to do. People came out and said, you know, that's going to hurt the industry. Well, you got to look at how many people that live in Tulsa, other than those that live in those extended stay hotels, are living or just sleeping in a hotel. I got a whole bed at home.
Yeah.
You know, but the conferences come in, right? You know, the conferences come in. That's where the bulk of that money would have been generated for people, for Tulsa, or Oklahoma, wherever had a conference. You know, and I'll be honest, I was talking to somebody and they was just like, well, that was going to add like $5 to the bill. I said, do you actually like you look at that? Because I'm just, that's not something we look at. I don't look at that. If I need to be here, then I find the best rate that I think I want to pay. And then, you know, I look at, okay, it's going to be this much. And then, you know, I go, I've never looked at, I can't stay there because the tax is going to be, you know, $5 more.
Right.
And so I was just like, I didn't realize, you know, people actually looked at that. I say, if that's where the conference is and you got to go to the conference, you know, and just being honest, I went to the Final Four with my daughter. We didn't go to the games, but my daughter's a basketball coach. Yeah. And so there is, there's a coaches conference wherever the Final Four is. We didn't know that until last year. And so I went to Columbia. She paid $600. You know, but I'm sure she didn't look at the, mama, we can't go because the taxes, right. You know. So I was just like, I don't think people are that. Yeah, we, you know, we're looking at the budget, you know, but I don't think people are that. I don't think it's that hard line yet, you know. So they took that one out, like I said, $40 million gone after it's been signed. So that was where the rub was.
That's crazy.
That was where the rub was. That was where we were like, oh, okay, because it passed, I think, on Monday night. I actually left Oklahoma on Wednesday. The Senate passed it and sent it back to the House because they did something with Hotel Motel. The House then, even though they had put Hotel Motel in, then took it back out. And so that's where we lost the $40 million. So that all happened from Tuesday to Thursday. By Friday, teachers across the state were like, nah, y'all playing games. We coming to your job. We not going to our job. And so that was kind of what happened.
We finna pull up, huh?
Yeah. And I'm telling you, when we got there on Monday, I was like, whew, oh my God, okay. They showed up. You know, and then you thought it was Tuesday. We were like, everybody was like, oh, they don't have the stamina. And I'm like, dude,
just don't believe us.
Have you never been in a school? Like,
don't believe me, just
I don't get to go to the bathroom
all
day.
Yeah.
Like, so coming up here is nothing. Like, literally running
through. As soon as that bell ring in between classes,
and see, I can't go in between classes. Even though there's a restroom right there, I got to be in the hallway to monitor what's going on. So we can't always go on that 5 minutes. Right. Like,
yeah. Sometimes
because it will happen
2 minutes. I'm like, all right, I'm going.
You know, so that was, you know, they didn't think we were going to come. Then they didn't think we were going to keep coming. And somebody texted me yesterday and was like, what does the crowd look like? I said, it looked like somebody threw water on the Gremlins last night. Like, it was packed.
Dr. Giss is walking.
Our superintendent, Tulsa superintendent, literally left from Webster walking down Route 66 on Wednesday morning.
She's walking with the teachers.
So they walked to Kellyville. That's 18 miles.
It's the last name.
She is hardcore. I will say that about her. Like, she digs in. You know, so they walked to Kellyville. They got up Thursday from Kellyville. They walked to Bristow. They left Bristow yesterday morning. We're walking to Stroud. It was stormy. And so, you know, it was cold. We sitting outside in the cold. They like, oh, they going to go home. Nah, bro, we good. We do outside duty. We know how to pack for field trips.
In between there, I know they were stopping at the gym, local gym.
Yeah, and so people, you know, the support thing, people across the state are opening doors. Like, if you can't afford a hotel, which most single teachers can't, There are people in
Open
Oklahoma
doors.
City letting you stay at their house so you can protest.
Better be careful though.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, some of the houses are empty. It's just my house is empty. It's there. You know, you guys can come bunk there. It's almost like free Airbnb, teacher
Oh,
Airbnb. Our superintendent, they've been sleeping in gyms
Gyms, yeah.
and, you know, churches as they walk because those people are opening up the doors. Hey, we know you're walking. You don't have to sleep outside. And when they get there, whoever's hosting them that day, they have a spread set up for them. People,
First aid kits.
Fleet,
They do.
what's it called? Fleet Feet.
Yeah, Fleet
Something
Feet.
like
They
Yeah.
went and met them in either Bristol or Stroud and took them, you know, good, comfy, because, you know, they make special socks for people that walk miles.
Hey, feet,
They
feet,
took them
feel
socks. They
Yeah.
took them blister cream.
Making sure
They
their feet
made
is
sure their
together.
feet were in good health still. You know, so the support is there. And when we're at the Capitol, like yesterday, Q-Double rolled up.
Man.
And they just were passing out
Seen it.
burritos.
Somebody ordered pizzas.
Man.
Pieces.
Yeah,
We've gotten
everything's there.
pieces from everywhere, and when
Pieces.
you get the box, it'll say, you know, continue to fight. They've come from New York.
From New
They've
York.
come from Georgia.
Yep.
They've come from everywhere. People are just calling in 50 boxes of pizzas and having them delivered. So the support is there. You know, if you understand what we're fighting for,
Yeah.
if you realize
They
it's
see the
more
value.
than
It's
a raise.
more than just the raise.
It's more than us getting a raise.
I got one more question in closing. You know, I was watching a clip on Facebook of Mary Fallon talking about teachers acting like teenagers that want a better car. Like, what's up with that?
We
Like,
do. We want a better car.
I understand. Like,
I ain't mad.
what's the comparison? You know, what I mean?
She's her point. I guess she was trying to make is that we gave them the raise, and then now they're
not
still
enough.
throwing a fit.
Yeah.
What raise?
But it's the 6,000, the average 6,000.
Quote unquote.
But they missed the point. It was never about the raise. You know, I literally spend about $50 out of my pocket on my classroom every month, and that's just pencils and paper.
right.
Because I don't know what the kids do with they eat them. You know, but you got to be able to write, and that's never going to be right. There's not having supplies is never going to be an excuse to not do my work.
Right.
Like, you know, and
Yeah.
I'll tell them on Tuesday I don't have any. Ask your friend, you know, but I'm going to the closet while they not paying
got
attention,
my paper and
pulling
pencils
out the
right
box, and then I keep, you know, I drop them in
They
the
know where
cup.
to go.
They know where to get it. So it was just it was never about the raise. We appreciate the raise. We are thankful to have, you know, $2 extra, but it was about the funding of the classroom. It was about I'm not effective with 42 kids, even though I have those 42 kids for 75 minutes. Even if you average that out, I'm not even, you know, I'm barely getting to spend a minute and a half with each kid. You know, I don't have what you guys think of as special ed. There is no special services for my subject. So if there is a kid that has a low reading, low comprehension,
And that's
I'm
what
the
I
one that
have,
has to figure out how to work with that kid while I'm teaching the lesson with the 42 kids. So, you know, I'm one of those people that I'm constantly up moving, you know, okay, I'm gonna need you to cut that out. Let's get on task. Do you understand? You know, it's constant with 42 kids. So that is where the money, that's where we want the money. I need a special ed teacher. They, like I said, had they put the money back into the school, not necessarily into our raise, I would have taught all week.
You know, imagine. I only have like 15. It's my most, about 15 students. And I know for me, it's hard trying to go around and do my one-on-ones. So I can imagine having 40-something kids in a classroom and not enough material to teach from.
It just makes your job that much harder, man. And I stand with the teachers, man. Keep fighting the good fight.
Not everybody
We
appreciate
appreciate
us.
you.
So
We
yes,
appreciate
we
you.
definitely appreciate
And
it.
we appreciate, like I said, Q-Double rolled up. Some taco place rolled up Friday. The pizzas came in. And, like, it's to the point to where, like, they're dropped in one spot and people are walking around, hey, here's some pizza, you know.
Yeah.
They're feeding kids at the Capitol because the teachers are having to bring their kids.
Yep.
Right.
So there's a group that is, you know, they'll get on the mic at whatever time and say, hey, you know, if you got a kid, bring them to whatever location. And so
So
they're
you know,
feeding
superheroes
kids.
there too. They had
There was a
superheroes
guy
there.
that he brought
That's
his
pretty
English
good.
class.
Yeah.
His English
That's
class
cool.
set up tables
Seen
the
that.
first day. I was just like, what are they doing with the tables? They sat
Having
down
class.
and because they have an AP test coming up. They had class. So the support is there. Monday, Ted's the restaurant. They're bringing in like 10,000.
No, the restaurant.
The
Not the
restaurant.
burgers. Look, not the burgers.
Oh, so you're going to the Capitol tomorrow?
I don't want to say it incorrectly. I think it's Ted's Escondido. I'm not
Yes.
sure, but they let us know Friday, yesterday, that they were bringing in 10,000 tacos.
Oh man.
So the support is there because a lot of people understand, and we don't want the taxes raised on lower incomes.
Right.
That's not our purpose.
Right.
Now sometimes, taxes are a given.
Right.
I had to have a conversation on the plane back from Columbus with a lady, and she was just like, well, we don't need taxes. And I said, ma'am, I'm sorry. I said, we fought a whole war over taxes. No, we didn't. I said, yes, ma'am. We've had 2 good wars in the United States. One was over taxes. One was over slavery. And she, well, what war did we fight over taxes? The whole American Revolution.
Education is very important.
Britain was taxing us, and we didn't have any representation over there, and we didn't like it.
Right.
War.
Yes.
And she, she had to think about that. I said, it's okay. I teach social studies. And the man in front of me was like, oh Lord. But we taxes are a necessary evil. We've always had taxes. Taxes were here before we were officially a country.
Right.
Taxes are what support our social services. So you gonna pay a tax on something. Your great grandfather paid a tax. His great grandfather paid a tax. George Washington paid a tax. The Boston, and we're just practicing civil disobedience. It goes back in history. The Boston Tea Party was civil disobedience about those taxes. So, it is what it is. Taxes aren't going to go away. They just need to be spread out fairly.
And not amongst the
the low. I mean, if it's going to be a 5% tax, 5% on the low income and 5% on the upper income, okay, great, because that 5% at the top is going to bring in more than that 5% at the bottom.
right.
So we're just asking for the taxes to be spread out evenly if there have to be taxes.
Okay, man, y'all heard it first, man, from Miss Anderson and Tavi.
Yeah.
Put some respect on their
Put some
name.
respect on it.
Cash out the
Teacher.
teachers, man.
We do so much. We do. It's like,
Cash out.
once we instill something into the kids' brain, it's like it sticks with them.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, for real. Shout out to all teachers out there.
Man, my mom was a teacher, so y'all really got to put some respect on it. But yeah, man, y'all know what time it is.
Yeah, man. It's 1 a.m.
It's BJ,
It's your boy Nico.
Miss Anderson, and Tavi. Thank y'all so much,
Yes, no
man.
problem.
Blessing
Thank
the
you.
game.
Yeah, coming through.
And teaching me some things, man. I feel like my head is going to explode. I'm just trying to store all this knowledge.
I told y'all she was the best.
Hey, Miss Anderson is the truth. She's everything you needed to be.
Whenever you need it.
I'm whatever you need when you need it. You need a hug, I got you. You need to be fussed at, I got you. You need that look, I got you.
All right, man. We out.